So we do have a new album. We will talk about the new album, but I would like to talk about your entrepreneurship first.
Okay, great.
So you have your own label, and you've had this label for almost a dozen years now.
Yes.
Dead Daisy Records. What a great name.
Thanks.
So explain the concept behind why you started the label and how it has evolved over the years.
Well, I started it because no one would sign me in Canada, and I just wanted to put out records. And then I had a brief stint where I was on a major label, but I quickly went back to Dead Daisy for the same reason. It's just, you know, there was no other way to put out my music, so it was just out of impatience, really.
And you ended up signing other bands to your label, and you let them develop, and then you let them free.
Yeah. I'm sort of like a junior high, you know, like you just stop in, you learn a few things, and then you go on. But in some ways, it's kind of true. The bands that have been on the label, In-Flight Safety, Royal Wood, you know, they really didn't have anywhere to go at one point. And
well, you're an incubator. You're like an angel investor in Silicon Valley.
Thank you. I'll put that on my business card.
So who besides you, who's on the label now?
Well, right now, Colleen Brown is on the label. She's a singer-songwriter from Edmonton who is amazing. Like, singer-songwriter, that term would put you to sleep, but her songwriting is just like Huxley Workman is a fan. He wants to produce her, and Jeff Rogers is managing her, and she's kind of gone from like doing her little thing, and then people have rallied around her to really support her. So I expect her to use my label and lose it very soon.
See, again, you just find them and then set them free just once they need to leave the nest.
Right. I mean, people who have seen my, you know, contracts or whatever are, you know, they
appalled?
tend to, yeah, they're appalled because they, you know, there's so many outs, you know, I say that to the artists who sign. It's like, if there's somewhere bigger that you want to go, just go, you know. I know what I can do for you. And I think from doing that label runaround where no one would be upfront with you about what will you do for me, what won't you do, you know, how do you really see me, you know, you want someone to be upfront with you, and I can always lay out what I can do for someone and what I can't do. So
let's talk about some of the other things you've done. There was a time where you were in the employ of one Mr. Bowie. Now, okay, this is really cool. A kid from Lambton County. And I find these stories absolutely fascinating. You know, you come from a small town like I do, and you think, oh, I'll never go anywhere. The world's too big. I'll never manage to do all these things that they do in the big cities. But it can be done. How did you hook up with Bowie as part of it? I guess you were a keyboardist and backing vocalist, right?
yes, and one-time clarinet player, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I played clarinet
On
at
what
Roseland.
songs?
Well, at Roseland on, they were some older songs that he did, that he sort of resurrected. I think they came out on an album called Toy. It might have been a Japanese release. So anyway, it was a live thing that I did the clarinet stuff on. But anyway, it was mostly singing and playing keyboards, and that just came as a result of going to New York, playing some shows, and being in that world a little bit where I met another backing vocalist, and they needed someone, and I kind of just got the job.
Nice.
I got the job before I met David, actually, so.
Well, you had a band leader, or you had somebody
Yeah,
else?
exactly. And then, you know, a week later doing Saturday Night Live and that sort of thing. So, and it was great for me just because I grew up watching that show and then obviously listening to his music.
No kidding. Then you've got this band called Hotbox.
Hot One.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Hot One.
Although it should be called Hotbox.
Sorry.
Because that's way cooler.
With Gary Lightbody.
No.
No?
I know what you're thinking. Nathan Larson.
Nathan Larson,
from
okay.
Shudder to Think.
Right.
But I was on a record for Oxfam with Gary Lightbody called The Cake Sale.
Okay, I'm mixed up.
Same.
So.
Cake, box, hot, yeah.
Gotcha.
It's all the same.
So how did you hook up with Gary?
Well, again, travel. You know, travel really does make a difference. You can't, you know, even though the internet's sort of a life-changing tool, you can only do so much with it, I feel like, and you really have to go places to make things happen. And I went to Ireland and released some records there, and met some people from a band called Bell X1, and they're doing this record with Gary and Josh Ritter, Damien Rice, and basically sort of you'd contribute a song and then someone else would sing it. In my case, Nina Pearson from Cardigans sang.
Yeah.
So it was sort of a collection of all these different artists.
So, brings us to the new album. I've lost count. How many is this? 12? 11?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know.
It's called, is it Gemini or Gemini?
It's Gemini.
It's Gemini.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it, Gemini. I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
So the
See
two little
the two little horses. And,
seahorses.
yeah.
Yes, very, very cute. So, okay, we've established that we've lost count of how many this is, and this is on
My label.
on
yeah.
your label.
Yeah.
So you have all these different guest appearances. You know, Joe Plaskett's here. Who else is it? Bubbles?
Yeah.
As in Trailer Park Boys
Yeah.
Bubbles? Okay, you just gave me this, so I haven't had a chance to.
Uh-oh.
What the
Okay.
what the heck? Okay, I got to ask about that.
Yeah. Bubbles, well, I was touring out east, and he lives out there. And I was in the process of putting this record together, and I thought, you know, he's a musical guy. He's played with Rush.
He's played with Rush, and he was in a very good band called Sandbox.
Yes, and that I knew Bubbles before he was Bubbles. He actually tour managed me like 10 years ago, and I just remember him as being the funniest guy, and it didn't surprise me when he became Bubbles and started owning half of Halifax. He owns half, you know, he's got Bubbles Mansion. Have you ever been there?
No, I'm going to the Halifax Pop Explosion next month.
You've got to go and get some like fries and a beer at Bubbles Mansion.
That's okay.
That's about all they serve.
And then Royal Wood, obviously from your label, Sash Jordan. Who else is here? Joe Plaskett. Nathan Larson's here. It's a nice lineup here.
And Joe Elliott from Def Leppard.
That is, I was going to say, is that the Joe Elliott from Def
That's
Leppard?
actually how the whole album started.
Wow.
Well, I recorded this album with Greg Wells, producer to the Stars in LA, and it was just my record. And then Joe Elliott is a fan of that song, and he said, "Send it to me, and I'll do something to it." So I sent it to him, and then he sang on it, and I was like, that changes it for me.
See, that's the cool thing, because now these people don't have to be in the same studio as you. You can just send them the stems or the tracks, and they can do their thing and send it back.
Yeah.
So I guess I have noticed that there are more of these collaborations going on simply because you don't have to be in the same room at the same time.
Yeah.
Anymore. So that's how it worked out. You know, here's let me just throw this in. You've got a number of people who send some interesting shout-outs to you. I mean, okay, we have Joe Elliott, you know, Hawksley Workman. Nelly Furtado has talked about you in public. Bono says one of your songs is one of the ones he wished he had written. You've worked with David Bowie. I mean, that's a pretty solid resume for a kid from Lambton County.
Thanks. Well, it'd be good if Bono wants to record a song, I could buy a mansion. That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah. Just put that on a B-side, please, for the next album, or make it an iTunes bonus or something. Just throw a few coins this way, Paul. Well, I know you're going to play. What are you going to do from here?
I'm going to play top speed and try to be Sarah, Quinn, and me all at the same time. So
this is that's the first single then?
Well, there's not really a single, you know, like I'm not really kind of doing the radio push, but actually the Joel Plaskett song has got a bit of play. So.
Okay.
But I'll do top speed because that seems to be a favorite among some people.
And what have you got planned? Obviously, you're going to spend some time working this album and performing. Then what?
Yeah, I don't know. Like a good Canadian, I've applied to get money to do my next album, and I think that's going to decide it, like whether I get that funding to do it or not. I will obviously do another album, but how quickly, you know, is the question. And I also just squeezed out a baby in February, so I'm going to be kind of chilling with him for a while.
What's his name?
His name's Ronan.
Good name.
Good Irish name.
Yes. I saw a bottle of wine in a store recently. It's a bottle of Chardonnay, and the wine is called Mummy's Timeout. If I find a bottle...
If you find a bottle of whiskey with that label, then give me a call. That's what I need.
Well, good luck with everything,
Thank
and
you.
let's hope that the entrepreneurship continues and that the opportunities, these extraordinarily globe-trotting opportunities, keep coming your way.
Thanks.
It's obvious that you've got lots of fans, and you know, maybe there's a break in that direction for you again.
You never know.
You don't. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Explore Music wears English Laundry apparel.